national education policy is an ambitious roadmap, and what will it entail to really implement it? Our next discussion focuses on that, the roadmap for implementation of the new education policy. Again, I'd like to thank our session sponsor, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, for this. And can I please invite Mr. Amit Khare, Secretary, Department of Higher Education and Department of School Education and Literacy, and my colleague Kaushik Deka, Deputy Editor, India Today.
Hello and welcome to this special session in India Today Education Conclave. In this session, we have with us Mr. Amit Khare, Secretary, Higher Education Department in Union Government of India. Welcome, Mr. Khare. And my first question to you would be, you have often talked about this Indian education, this new education policy as a global education rooted in Indian philosophy. How do you explain this, and how is it going to help the Indian students in achieving their goals?
The new National Education Policy 2020, which has come almost 34 years after the previous policy, which was of 1986, that brings many fundamental and transformational changes in our education system. First and foremost, in the school education side, we are having a very focused intervention on the early childhood education, and a new system of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 is being introduced in place of the earlier 10 plus 2 system. Another major change will be that the silos that we have built of art, science and commerce, that will slowly be withered away. Students will have a choice to move across disciplines, and in fact all the institutions are being encouraged to become multidisciplinary, particularly the higher educational institutions. To give an example, IIT Kharagpur already has an engineering department, an agriculture engineering, a law, and they are even contemplating to start a medical college in the next year. So institutions will be multidisciplinary, students will have a choice, and there will be a system of multiple entry and exit. Many a time students want to take a sabbatical. Say after a year a student wants to go out, have some experience, come back, or for some economic reasons they want to go out. Right now they become dropouts, but their credits will be stored in an academic bank of credit. It will be easier for them to come within a period of 3 years, utilize those credits. If they have studied say the first 2 semesters, then they can straight away join the 3rd semester instead of repeating the first 2. At the international level, we are encouraging the Indian universities to go abroad, those who have high ratings, and the international universities or world universities to come and set up campuses in India. But of course that is going to take time, and as the Prime Minister had remarked in one of the conferences just after introduction of this policy, that this policy and the new education system that we are planning should encourage children to have critical thinking. A critical thinking which leads to questioning, problem solving, innovation, and that innovation leads to further generation of knowledge. So instead of this rote learning that we start from class 6 onwards, and the huge rush that we have for coaching institutions and trying to get into X or Y institution, that all should change with this new policy.
What is the government's roadmap? You have said that this policy will be rolled out by 2040, but there will be multiple challenges. How are you going to deal with those things?
We are going in an incremental fashion, and starting with the next academic year, the work has already started. We have identified 89 broad themes in higher education, which can be further broken up into 189 activities. Because supposing we are talking of multiple entry and exit, so multiple entry and exit requires that there should be modular courses. It also requires that there should be a credit bank where credit can be stored. It also requires that at different level admissions and exits that will have to be synchronized, otherwise say in 1 year, because you have limited number of seats, so all of a sudden the seats will become double or triple. Now we have identified all these issues, 189 activities, and 89 broad themes in the higher education. In the school education, there are about 300 activities to be done. And for each of them, there are working groups which are already in process. We'll start introducing gradual changes from 2021 itself. Now you may like to know what are those changes. For example, the institutions of excellence, 20 of them which are recognized, 10 government universities, 10 private universities, they will be allowed to shift to this multiple entry and exit mode. So that can start with the IOEs. The common entrance exam for admissions to the universities, that has been talked about. Now for all the 1028 universities in the country, particularly say the state universities, it will be difficult to implement at one go. So what we have decided is that for central universities, we will have the common admission test from 2021. After all, the technical universities, they already have the IIT JEE exam. So all admission to the technical institutions, say IITs, NITs, they are all through the common exam. So similarly, the system can be introduced in the central universities. Thirdly, the academic bank of credit, that is a work in progress. We have requested some of the IITs. The issue is, for example, if we take the academic bank of credit, I mean conceptually it is very easy to understand, but in practice, I mean there are about 3.7 crore students, and if each student will be having different subject combination. So unlike school where you have only 5 subjects or 6 subjects, in university the number of subjects is far higher. Now keeping a credit bank of say 3.7 crore students, that requires a huge database, and that is a work which has already started in the IIT, and that we will be able to bring at least in the central institutions from 2021, so that central institutions can offer this multiple entry and exit. About the vocational education, some work has already started. The UGC has already issued the new guidelines for apprenticeship. So all students will be offered apprenticeship during their undergraduate courses, just like the IITs and others have got a summer training.
This is the time when Delhi University is conducting its admissions, and we have seen those skyrocketing cutoff marks. And Delhi University is a central university. So will we see changing that? Will we see that there would not be such cutoff marks and there will be an entrance exam in future
Yes.
for undergraduate courses from 2021?
We are shifting from this marks-based system into some sort of an aptitude and knowledge-based system. Now, the CBSE marks, they continue to be relevant, but that CBSE assessment itself will undergo a change. Right now, a CBSE mark sheet tells us about the marks obtained in the subjects, say social studies so much and physics so much and so on. But if you wish to have a holistic assessment, then that mark sheet does not serve the purpose, because somebody may have got 100 out of 100 in all the subjects, but that does not mean he or she is the best student, because the best student should also have the other qualities about the life, and that assessment system will undergo a change in CBSE. Correspondingly, the higher education entrance also, we may have it on the basis of marks, or perhaps some weightage to the CBSE marks and some to the aptitude test, because having those marks may not apply economics will require a different aptitude from commerce and say bookkeeping and accountancy, and that will require a slightly different aptitude for those who wish to go for scientific research and for those who are going to economics. So just measuring the marks that whosoever has got 100 out of 100 may not be the best choice, neither for the student nor for the institution.
My last question is that all this implementation would require huge amount of fund. Where is that fund coming from? Because the government of India traditionally has been spending very little on education. So, and this will need a huge spending, not from government of India but from the states. Do you have a roadmap on the funding?
There are three things which I'll point out. One is, a lot of things require reforms and not funding. I mean, funding is required. I mean, I'm not discounting that funding is required. But if we can say that, say we have the institutions like UGC, AICT, NCT, Teachers Education as National Council for Teacher Education. For setting up a university, hundreds of approvals are required from the state level up to the central level. It does not require money, it requires a reform. So one is the reform in the regulatory structure, which do not cost. It does not cost anything to the state, but it makes things easier for new institutions to come up. The second is better utilization of the resources. Better utilization would mean we are spending close to something like central government spends about 1200 crores a year on technology enabled education, both school and colleges. Can we focus it in such a way that we are able to reach out to the last person? And instead of generally distributing the funds all over, the policy has made a mention of the special education zone. So those, supposing there are schemes, so central government funds will go mostly to the central universities. Those funds which go to the state universities, state also utilize it for their best universities or the universities which are in important towns of that state. Those areas which are neglected, they continue to remain neglected. So the policy has made a mention that there will be a special education zone so that funding could be focused. These are mostly the aspirational districts. So have better utilization of resources, have focused funding. And lastly, of course, we have mentioned that the private sector will be there, but no profiteering will be allowed. Because education is not meant for profiteering, but rules will be made easy so that if they wish to invest without profiteering, and a large number of people, particularly the alumni of the institutions, they are willing to invest, at least in their own institutions, alumni funds and so on. But somehow they find the system so complicated that they are not able to do anything. So that will be simplified, and of course 6% of the GDP that has been mentioned in the previous policy also, and we will try to get 6% of the GDP invested in education.
जहां प्रेरणा लेती है उड़ान और होता है आपके सपनों की वास्तविकता का निर्माण, जहां आपके सपनों को मिलता है आकार, where you get trained with industry skills, soft skills and social skills. संस्कृति यूनिवर्सिटी, आप निर्माता हैं अपने भविष्य के।